Hi, it's Dynamite Critic, my YouTube channel, if you're interested. It's my second video in English, and now I will talk about that character that I really loved. I love shy and introverted and cringe characters, like Akane in Inazuma 11 Go and Blake Belladonna in Rwby. Blake was my favorite character of Rwby, though I didn't know it. Though I didn't really know it at the time. But Blake was my favorite character because I resonated with the story and her being a cringe and shy, drawing stuff in a notebook and hiding it and blushing and all. I miss old Blake. Blake was a character that was important to me back then. I loved Adam too, because I thought he was cool and wanted to see them reunite again. But then they totally erased her character development in Volume 3 and made her a total bitch. An angry, edgy, rich girl, even though she said her family was poor in Volume 1 and 2. Retcon much? Yes, it's a retcon, but there's so much retcon in this shit show that I had enough already. And I haven't seen it out yet. This is gonna be awful. But we need to talk about Blake because I loved Blake. Blake was my favorite character, so I was in for a world of hurt with what they did to her character. They made her edgy and grateful and also unnecessarily violent and abusive towards Sun too. What was with that? And I heard that the shitty creator of the show said that they took the wife's dad slapping her was cool, so they brought that here, but just because you think a scene is cool doesn't mean it's a good idea and that it made sense into plot and to scenario, whatever you can end in English or French. But yeah, and also the word racism, discrimination subtext, the White Fang storyline and how it was handled into series wasn't perfect. Making the White Fang into villain was a bad idea from the start. But they could have fixed it later, but sadly the creator of the series died because he could. So did they decided to continue his work and fix this whole mess? No! They made it worse and they just made the shitty subject off. If you discriminated against, you victim of racism, then green your teeth and bear it because if you do anything, you're the bad guy. So wait, we're just supposed to just stand there and be abused? Is that you messaging? That racist and disgusting? And there is another YouTuber, a Rwby tuber as I will call it, that did a video on this better than I did, but I wanted to tell my own opinion and it's not a positive one. And also, Rwby doesn't have much men black characters in the background, yes, but I think that having Blake being black or dark skin would have been a good thing, and if not, then had more dark skin main characters, please. But that's a problem with Rwby that I have, but it could have been so much better. Because it was long ago, but I made a fan fiction that I never talk about my fan fiction in general because it's embarrassing, but I made a fan fiction where the White Fang is actually the country where the Phonus live, main military force, like for example France and the GIGN, and Russia and the infamous Russia and Wagner, that I could have the White Fang being the country where the Phonus live, main military force, kind of like faction in Gundam and stuff. And this Montium kind of said that it liked Bekacho and stuff, so it would make sense. But no, we're not into right universe. And what we got was a shit show, bad messaging, racist undertone, and just bad messaging all around. I don't know what was the intention of those morons when they made this, but it's not good. I loved Blake. She was my favorite character. I related to her so well, and they rendered her so badly that it it broke my heart, man. The number of fact fiction I made to cope with this, and also go watch Rwby Evermore. It's very great. It's just Rwby had so much potential, and they killed it because before its prime. And now the prime of Rwby is gone, and I missed it so much. So now I will cope with author good CGI show and author action show and make more fan fiction to cope with his pain because I miss Blank character in volume 1 and 2. They mishandled her so badly, and the white thing too, and the racism, discrimination, and activism storyline too. And they clearly, I don't think that was their intention, but they clearly care more about LGBTQ stuff than you know, not not making the activist for Phonius will be straightened on this world villain. So if you want to see this storyline handled less worse than this, go watch a story summary of Arc Knight in YouTube. It's not a Spencer, by the way, but I just think that the storyline was handled so much better in this game, despite the lack of black representation and colorism problem. The storyline is handled so much better in Arc Knight. So go play the game or watch plot summaries. It's so much better than this garbage. And also, the Kazi William or something like this also made a song for Arc Knight, Come to Light. Go listen to it if you're interested. So yes, it was my dog or my favorite character, and also I didn't like initially when I watched Rwby for the first time when I was younger. I initially didn't like Sun when he was introduced, but I loved the influence he had on Blake. I love how he made her love her Phonius self more. I love that. And I wish we could have had more of that instead of, her abusing him during a whole volume. This was horrible. It's terrible. I hate this. So yeah, it was my really sad, tough, my really sad tough. I can't pronounce this. Sorry, but my really sad tough on Blake Belladonna from Rwby, who was my favorite character and was massacred, mishandled, and like everything good about this show, disrespected. But sadly, there's so much more character that I could say were disrespected and mishandled in this series, but it just hurts so much more because Blake Moore was my favorite character in the show, and I was really invested into White Fang storyline. So yeah, it was my thought on Blake Belladonna from Rwby. Hi there, it's Dynamite Critic. If you like the video, leave a like and subscribe, and have a nice day. Bye.